Welcome to the official channel of Prosper Anang Ministries. Step into a powerful journey of faith, inspiration, and spiritual growth with Pastor Prosper, a privileged servant of Jesus. As the lead pastor of the New Testament Gospel Church in Benin City, Nigeria, Pastor Prosper is on a global mission to transform lives. He is an author, writer, fluently sharing God's Word, deep, life-changing insights right to your screen. If you are seeking spiritual guidance, a vibrant faith with God, you are in the right place.
Imagine for a second that you are just running on a treadmill.
What?
And you have the incline like completely maxed out. It's at the absolute peak.
Oh, that sounds miserable already.
Right. Your lungs are just absolutely burning and you are pouring out maximum physical output. You are sweating, you're pushing hard. But when you look down at the display, you realize you haven't moved a single inch.
Yeah, zero net velocity.
Exactly, zero net velocity. And that feeling, that specific type of exhaustion where you are constantly moving, working tirelessly, but achieving absolutely no forward progress, it goes so far beyond just physical tiredness.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Because you feel it in your career, you feel it in your relationships.
Yes.
And eventually it becomes this really profound psychological and, frankly, spiritual drain. It depletes you on a structural level.
Because you're putting in the effort, right? The momentum is clearly there. The late nights are happening.
But the arrival itself is completely blocked. It is this illusion of progress that just strings you along, making you think the finish line is like just one more step away.
And we've all been there. It's the deal that falls through at the absolute 11th hour.
Oh, yeah. The promotion that just vanishes inexplicably.
Exactly. And that is the exact phenomenon we are looking at in this deep dive today. We are pulling directly from a really profound theological masterclass. Specifically, we're looking at the Today's Word for You devotional by Pastor Prosper Anang.
It is such an incredible resource.
It really is. And our mission today is to give you the tools to stop passively tolerating this kind of stagnation and to start actually dismantling the unseen structures that are preventing your arrival.
Right. Because Pastor Prosper Anang's text defines this specific spiritual state as the near success syndrome.
The near success syndrome, just that phrase captures the cruelty of it,
It really does. Because it's not outright immediate failure. If you just failed, you'd move on. But it is an infinite loop.
Right.
Your progress is highly visible. You get all the positive feedback from the people around you, but your arrival is denied at the last possible second.
It reminds me so much of the Exodus story.
Oh, that's a good comparison.
Yeah, think about it. It is like having enough initial momentum to successfully escape Egypt. You've left the bondage. You've crossed the entire desert.
You've done the hard part.
Right. You can quite literally see the shoreline of the promised land. But right as you lift your foot to step onto the dry ground, you hit this invisible spiritual undertow.
Wow, yeah.
And it violently drags you back out to sea. And the maddening part is that it happens every single time.
And this is exactly where we have to transition from just identifying that exhaustion to diagnosing why so many believers actually tolerate it.
Because we do tolerate it, don't we?
We do. We sit in that delay, we endure the undertow, and we do it because of a fundamental structural misunderstanding of spiritual time. If we don't understand time, we have no framework to understand delay.
Okay, so break that down for us, because the devotional draws a very sharp line between two distinct dimensions of time, right? Chronos and kairos.
Yes. We experience both, but they operate completely differently. So chronos is your linear sequential time.
Like the calendar on my phone.
Exactly. It's the cold mechanical calendar time. It's the ticking of the clock, the turning of pages on a desk calendar. It's just the natural framework of the physical world.
Okay, that makes sense.
But kairos is different. Kairos is a pregnant, divinely appointed, strategic window of opportunity.
Oh, I like that word, pregnant. It's full of potential.
Right. It is a specific moment where time is injected with eternal power. It's the moment where heaven actually kisses earth.
Okay, so where do we get tripped up?
Well, the danger, what the text explicitly warns about as the danger of spiritual passivity, arises when we confuse our frustrating experience within Chronos for the divine will of Kairos.
Wait, say that again. We confuse our frustration for God's will.
Yes, when you are stuck in that infinite loop of near success, the enemy's greatest victory is convincing you that your stagnation is actually just the mysterious will of God.
Wow.
We passively accept a demonic attack because we dress it up in the language of divine timing.
Oh, that hits hard. We tell ourselves, well, it's just not my season.
Exactly. When in reality, we are being subjected to an illegal spiritual freeze.
Okay, but I have to push back on this a little bit. I struggle with this distinction because, we're always taught that waiting is holy.
Right, the waiting season.
Yeah, look at Joseph in the scriptures. He sat in a prison cell for years. From the inside of a literal prison cell, how could he possibly know if God was building his character or if, a demon was stealing his time?
That is the ultimate question.
Because from the outside, divine processing and illegal demonic delay, they look identical, don't they?
They do look identical from the outside, but the internal fruit is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Divine processing, like Joseph in the prison or Moses in the desert, is fundamentally about building internal capacity.
Okay.
God is forging character.
Mm-hmm.
He is creating a heavy anchor in the human spirit so that when the elevation finally comes, the weight of that new level doesn't crush the person.
So it's constructive.
Exactly. Divine processing is constructive. You come out of it stronger, clearer, and more grounded.
Yeah.
Satanic postponement, on the other hand, is entirely destructive.
It's just theft.
It is literal time theft. It is the illegal preservation of a status quo that God has already commanded to shift.
So it's not preparing you for the weight of the blessing at all. It's just draining your ability to hold it.
Right. Look at Proverbs 13.1. It says, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick."
Oh, wow.
When you are under a satanic postponement, it doesn't build your character. It breeds bitterness, it breeds deep hopelessness, and it produces a sick, fractured heart.
That is such a clear litmus test.
If your delay is producing a sick heart rather than a forged, anchored character, you are dealing with a demonic blockade, not the mysterious will of God.
Okay, so if we realize that this delay isn't God's will, that it's actually an illegal interception, we have to understand the exact nature of the blockage. What are the actual mechanics of it?
Right, how does it actually work?
Exactly. And this brings us to a really foundational quote from our source material today. I want to read this verbatim from the Today's Word for You devotional by Pastor Prosper Anang.
Go for it.
Here's the quote. Satanic delay is an unauthorized atmospheric blockage designed to make you faint before your harvest matures. You must stop waiting passively for a divine calendar shift and start enforcing your legal corporate rights in the courts of heaven.
That is so powerful. Let's pull apart the first half of that quote.
Yeah, please.
Delay is an unauthorized atmospheric blockage designed to make you faint before your harvest matures. This perfectly aligns with the law of the due season found in Galatians 6.9.
Which says, "Let us not grow weary while doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart."
Exactly. The original Greek word for losing heart or fainting there is eklio.
Eklio.
Right. It means to be loosened, to be exhausted, to have your inner resolve completely dissolve. The enemy's primary target isn't actually your project, your ministry, or your finances.
It's not.
No, his primary target is your endurance. He wants you to eklio.
He wants you to hit that treadmill stop button right before the finish line.
Precisely. And this interception doesn't just happen in some vague, spooky, spiritual realm, It manifests in highly practical ways.
Yeah, when Pastor Prosper Anang's text talks about logistic freezes, my mind immediately goes to, the housing market.
But that's a perfect example.
Right, because you have the down payment, your credit is perfect, you are doing everything right in Chronos time.
You've checked every box.
Exactly. But then the bank's software throws a completely unexplainable glitch, and it delays the closing just long enough for the seller to walk away. Is that the kind of system anomaly we're talking about?
That is a textbook logistic freeze. Natural structures, bureaucratic systems, banking institutions, or even legal courts are manipulated to hold up the execution of heavenly answers.
It just defies logical explanation.
It really does. But then you also see information blocks.
What does that look like?
This is where you are kept entirely blind to the specific keys or knowledge required for your next level. You have the resources, but your spiritual radar is basically jammed.
So you just can't see the strategy that is sitting right in front of you.
Exactly. The answer is right there. But you have a blind spot the size of a truck,
Oh, man.
and then you have diversionary crises. This one is perhaps the most exhausting tactic.
I can only imagine. What is a diversionary crisis?
It's the sudden severe health emergency or the massive relational blowout that erupts the exact moment you are standing at the threshold of a promotion or a breakthrough.
Oh, I've seen that happen to so many people.
Right. It forces you to divert all your emotional and physical energy away from your harvest, causing you to faint before you can reap it.
That is so incredibly validating for anyone listening who has experienced those bizarre last-minute emergencies that just seem to defy all logic. It's not bad luck, it's a calculated interception.
It absolutely is.
So, to actually enforce those legal rights that Pastor Prosper Anang mentioned in the quote, we need to understand the exact jurisdiction the enemy is operating in.
Right, the legal framework.
And the devotional grounds this entirely in what it calls the Prince of Persia Protocol, drawing from the historical and judicial context of Daniel 10.
Yes, Daniel 10.12 through 13 provides the actual scriptural law for understanding how atmospheric blockages interact with earthly reality.
Set the scene for us there. What's happening with Daniel?
So Daniel is fasting and praying for a breakthrough. An angel finally arrives and tells him, Daniel, your prayer was heard instantly on the very first day.
So God dispatched the answer immediately.
Exactly. The Kairos moment was initiated. But the angel reveals he faced a 21-day second heaven blockade.
Wow, 21 days.
He was intercepted in the atmosphere by a spiritual entity called the Prince of Persia, and he literally couldn't get through until the Archangel Michael intervened.
That is wild. So the answer was dispatched in Kairos time outside of the physical calendar, but it had to travel through the atmosphere to reach Daniel, which created a brutal 21-day delay in Chronos time.
Exactly. And the text breaks these blockades down into two distinct structural categories: territorial blockages and chronological blockages.
Let's start with territorial. What is that?
A territorial blockage is a localized spiritual stronghold. It governs a specific geographic area or maybe even a particular industry.
Okay, so give me an example of that in the real world.
Think about a highly skilled business person whose finances and deals flow completely freely when they live in one city. But the very moment they relocate to a new region, an invisible chokehold tightens around their resources.
Even though their qualifications haven't changed.
Exactly. Their work ethic is identical, but they have unknowingly stepped into a territory governed by a different spiritual monitor that actively resists their arrival. The delay is literally attached to the geography.
That is terrifying, honestly. But then you have chronological blockages, right? These aren't tied to a zip code.
No, not at all.
They are time-bound assignments. They strike at very specific junctures. I think about the curse of the cutoff.
Yes, the cutoff.
You see this in generational patterns. Maybe every male in a bloodline faces systemic, catastrophic health issues or bankruptcy the very month they turn 40 years old.
It's like clockwork.
Right. Or an entrepreneur whose business ventures inexplicably collapse exactly at the 2-year mark, every single time, regardless of the industry they're in.
The demonic gatekeepers monitoring that timeline, they don't care where you live. They care about intercepting the manifestation of your breakthrough at a specific chronological threshold.
They are just watching the calendar.
And as that deadline approaches, the person under that chronological blockage often feels this rising sense of dread, even if they can't articulate why. The structure is already in place, waiting for them to hit that age or that anniversary.
Man. So now that these structures are exposed, how do you actually dismantle them? How do you step out of the infinite loop of the near success syndrome?
Well, the devotional introduces a necessary shift in what it calls spiritual technology.
Spiritual technology, I love that.
We have to move from passive petitioning to what Matthew 11.12 calls violent faith.
Violent faith. Let's look at it like this. Passive petitioning is it's like walking up to a corporate desk, filling out a polite customer service complaint about the delay in your life, dropping it in a suggestion box, and just hoping management eventually reads it.
Right. Hoping they change the policy.
Exactly. It's polite, it's passive, and it leaves all the power in the hands of the system.
But violent faith, using prophetic decrees the way the devotional describes, is completely different.
Right. It's like acting as the legal, fully authorized representative of a king. You aren't leaving a complaint in a box. You are walking up to the door of an illegal squatter, kicking the door open, and slamming a binding judicial eviction notice on the table.
Yes.
You are enforcing a legal right that has already been established in the highest court.
You are not begging for a favor. You are enforcing a verdict. And this ties directly into Zechariah 1.21. Which Pastor Prosper Anang's text highlights.
What happens in Zechariah?
The prophet Zechariah has a vision where he sees these horns. These horns represent the spiritual structures and gatekeepers that scatter the people, causing stagnation, keeping everyone's head bowed down in exhaustion.
Basically the source of the near-success syndrome.
Exactly. But then God reveals the craftsmen.
The craftsmen.
Right, the craftsmen are sent specifically to terrify the horns, to completely cast them out. When you operate in violent faith, you aren't just complaining about the horns, you are deploying the craftsmen.
Wow.
You are utilizing spiritual technology to cast out the structures of delay.
Okay, so how do we actually deploy these craftsmen on like a random Tuesday morning? Because the Today's Word for You devotional by Pastor Prosper Anang doesn't just leave us with abstract theology.
No, it is highly practical.
It gives a very specific 3-key practical breakdown for tactical execution.
Let's walk through those.
Yeah. The first key is the strategic fast. This is a targeted fast from 6:00 a.m. to 6:00 p.m. And we need to talk about the physical reality of this.
Oh, absolutely.
Fasting for 12 hours of daylight isn't just like skipping lunch. Your body rebels.
You get the headache.
You get the brain fog. You're irritable. But the purpose isn't just to be hungry, is it?
Not at all. It's about spiritual calibration. You are starving the flesh to turn up the dial on your spiritual receiver.
Okay, I like that. Turning up the dial.
When you engage in that 6:00 p.m. fast, you are systematically clearing out the noise. It sharpens your spiritual radar so you can see through those information blocks we talked about earlier.
Ah, so you can finally see the strategy.
Right. It aligns your frequency with heaven, which actively releases angelic assistance into your atmosphere. It's the prerequisite for the next step.
Right, because fasting sharpens your radar during the day. But Pastor Prosper Anang points out that the real atmospheric shifts actually happen while most of us are asleep.
Which brings us to the second key.
Yes, the midnight watch. This involves waking up and leveraging the spiritual climate between 12:00 a.m. and 3:00 a.m.
And let's be honest, getting out of bed at 2 a.m. is jarring.
It is awful. It is physically uncomfortable.
But this specific window matters immensely. In the spiritual ecosystem, this is traditionally when dark gatekeepers and territorial monitors attempt to refresh their assignments against your life for the coming day.
They are resetting the traps.
Exactly. By waking up in this window, you are actively disrupting their atmospheric setup. You aren't just reacting to a bad day after it starts.
You are stepping into the courts of heaven to issue counter-decrees before their chronological assignments can even take root.
You are intercepting the interceptors. You are hitting them before they can even set up the roadblock.
That is brilliant. And then you have the third key, which requires some serious introspective work, the life timeline audit.
This one is deep.
It is. This is where you sit down, maybe with a pen and paper, and actively identify those historical or ancestral cycles of unfulfillment. You really have to chart the family tree.
Right, you look for the uncle who went bankrupt at 40.
The grandfather who lost his business at 40.
And you realize your own business is suddenly struggling as you approach 40.
It requires deep, uncomfortable honesty. You are tracking the patterns.
And once you identify those chronological cutoff marks, you don't just note them in a journal. You repent of any inherited delays.
Yes.
You actively renounce any words of self-sabotage you may have spoken over your own life out of frustration or exhaustion.
Because we all do that. We say, I'll never get this done, or this always happens to me.
Exactly. And by renouncing that, you legally close those entry points in the courts of heaven. You remove the legal ground the enemy has been using to justify the delay.
It is just a comprehensive, multi-tiered strategy. You calibrate your spirit through the fast, you disrupt the enemy's timing in the midnight watch, and you audit your legal standing by charting your timeline.
It covers all the bases.
It really does. And all of this culminates in understanding that your words aren't just sounds, they are legal verdicts.
Right.
As we move toward the end of this deep dive, we have to look at what the text calls the apostolic legislative finale.
This is the peak of the protocol.
It is. Pastor Prosper Anang provides a prophetic intercession decree that is just staggering in its authority. It's built entirely on the foundational law of Matthew 18:18,
which says, "Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven."
Exactly. This decree synthesizes everything we've unpacked today. It operates as a divine restraining order issued against every regional prince, watcher, and territorial monitor assigned to stall your destiny.
It legally binds those forces.
Yes, it commands the shattering of the glass ceiling over your business, your family, your health. And critically, it commands the immediate release of long overdue allocations.
Because it isn't a passive request.
No.
It is an authoritative propulsion out of the Chronos delay and straight into the Kairos season of heavy manifestation.
You are taking the gavel and slamming it down. You are legally bound and established in the heavens. It is the definitive end of the near success syndrome.
You are no longer running on the treadmill.
No, you are stepping off and enforcing the eviction notice.
When you combine the theology of time with the legal mechanics of the courts of heaven, stagnation stops being a mystery.
It really does.
It becomes a structural problem that you have the literal authority to solve.
I love that. Before we wrap up this masterclass, I want to leave you with a final provocative thought to really mull over.
Yeah, what is it?
It's based on a promise found in Exodus 23.26, which simply says, I will fulfill the number of your days.
Wow.
Fulfilling the number of your days means no stolen time. It means no satanic postponement. So I want you to examine your own timeline right now. What are the unauthorized blockages in your life, your career, or your family that you have slowly, passively accepted as normal?
Have you been worshiping a wall that was actually designed to be cast down?
Exactly. And more importantly, what specific, violent, prophetic decree do you need to issue in the courts of heaven tonight to reclaim your stolen time?
If you are exhausted from zero net velocity, the tools are now in your hands.
They really are. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Today's Word for You devotional by Pastor Prosper Anang. Take that question with you today, audit your timeline, and we will see you next time.